Now, KOAT Action 7 News more in the morning with special coverage of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
Good morning, New Mexico. It is 7 o'clock. Thanks for waking up with Action 7 News more in the morning. It is time for mass ascension at the 2017 Balloon Fiesta. We have live looks for you all morning.
Yeah, look at those balloons that are going up. We've got the green flag this morning. We've got a little bit of a box setting up this morning, and that means that we could see the balloons lifting off, drifting in a southerly direction, and then tracking back toward the park in a northerly direction, giving people at the park kind of a double take or a double view of the balloons. That would be fantastic. You can see the clear skies that we have out there this morning, Christine. Light winds. The winds aren't going to be moving too fast. The balloons aren't going to be moving too fast. The first wave of balloons is inflating right now, and we're just waiting for, of course, all the fun and those massive special shapes, because I do think that this is the type of morning where we will see some of those really big, awesome, massive shapes taking off. So that would be pretty cool.
Absolutely. So exciting to see. So we have crews on the field right now. Let's check in right now with KOAT Action 7 News reporter David Carl. He is live at Balloon Fiesta Park. Good morning, David. You're meeting all sorts of people out there right now.
Meeting a whole bunch of people. We've got a lot of people out here excited for the incoming mass ascension, and some of those balloons, as you can see, already up there. Now, we had the Dawn Patrol just about a half hour ago, and just to give you an idea of this box, some of those balloons are still up. They went that way initially, they got a little higher, they came back this way, and that's good for two reasons. One, all of us here on the ground, it's awesome. We get to see these shapes, as Byron said, get up in the air, stay there for a little while, and if they go this way and go past us, then they can come back. We get a second view. It's also good for all the people who have signed up to go up in the balloons. That means a longer ride for them and a lot more fun here. And again, we are moving towards that mass ascension. As you said, Christine, the flag is green, and we're just getting inflated. Now, right behind me here is going to be where Arabelle, the cow, is set up. Byron, you mentioned specifically that we could see some shapes going up. We're hoping Arabelle may be able to make it to the skies. Not sure if that's going to happen yet. It's always tough. She's one of the bigger balloons. She's an odd shape. Obviously, she's a cow. But if we could get her up in the air, that would be awesome. Hopefully seeing some of these bigger, more kind of obscure shapes get up in the air today too, as we do have that box set up nicely. Back to you guys.
Right, David. I see that one of the penguin special shapes is sort of just about getting inflated right now. We can hope that it will go up in the air in just a bit.
Yeah, there are three penguins that they have. Of course, they have Puddles the penguin, they've got Splash, and also Tall Steve. We saw all three on Saturday. Look at that shot. I believe that's with the moon there
gorgeous
as well. You've got the moon, you've got one of the teardrop shapes there. There's the first wave of balloons, and this, of course, is with the Rainbow Riders. A lot of the people, the spectators, and the people that are visiting from other places here in New Mexico and other places as well, they will take flight in these Rainbow Rider balloons. It's kind of their, I guess, their tour of New Mexico on those balloons.
Yeah, and you know, this is a look from Sky 7. Let's check in with Neil Lawson. He is our Sky 7 pilot. So Neil, how are things looking up from where you are right now?
Well, we're getting a really nice launch this morning. Very calm winds at the surface, and so the balloons are going to have to come up. They're coming up probably about 1,500 feet or so, and once they're up in that higher air, they're moving off to the north and slightly to the west, out over Corrales and Rio Rancho. So I suspect that's where we're going to see the majority of the landings today, out in that wide open area there on the mesa there near Rio Rancho. As far as the box, I haven't really seen that setting up just yet, although that may come, and hopefully that will, so we can get a lot more of a view there from the field as the balloons return to that area. Back to you.
Hey there, Neil. So a lot of people here are asking if you think that we're going to see any splash and dash going on for today with those balloons.
Well, with all of the balloons heading off to the northwest like this, I'd say that the possibilities of splash and dash are quite high, because again, there is very light winds at the surface, to the point where we've actually got some low fog and mist along the river itself. So I think probably in about 10 or 15 more minutes, some of the balloons that have already launched will be in that area, and we'll get a check on that and see if they're going to give it a try.
Thank you so much, Neil. There you see Arabelle laid out. I saw some special shapes laid out there. It looked like Lottie Dottie was laid out there as well.
The blue chicken.
And the blue chicken, yes. So it looks like it's going to be a fantastic morning. And you just heard Neil talk about the winds there at the surface. They're not all that strong. I was talking about this earlier, Christine, that we like to see a little bit of wind at the surface to evacuate the field. So once the waves of balloons go up, they'll clear the field to the next wave. It'll prepare the field for the next wave. So we're seeing them just kind of drift slowly off to the south initially, and then, as you heard from Neil, they are, as they fire the burners and rise higher up, they are drifting back to the northwest, and that would be up for the Corrales area, but spectacular views there for sure.
Right, you have to make room for all of those other balloons. We have about, on average, around 550 balloons who are at the park at any given time during the mass ascension. And speaking of special shapes, we can expect to see up to 17 new special shapes this year. Total number of special shapes is around 94. And hey, take a look, we got three of them. Yeah, the penguins. Those are one of the cutest ones that you can see. I'm sure a lot of the kids down there are enjoying the penguins. So let me bring up the names of them.
They're already lifting off, and I was excited to see Bill the Vampire. We didn't see Bill the Vampire lift off. It's one of the new ones this year. We didn't see it lift off on Saturday, but one of our photographers and our assignment desk guys got a Bill the Vampire pin. So I know they're there, and I think there's a higher probability that Bill the Vampire, along with a lot of the special shapes, will be lifting off today because of the very light winds. We generally like those winds for the larger special shapes to be 5 miles to 8 miles per hour, and we are in that threshold. They're very light, so I think that we're going to be in good shape there. Of course, we saw Superbike inflate on Saturday. That was pretty cool.
Great. I hope to see that again. Hey, and speaking of pins, I'm reading some information right here. Let me let you know about these pins, because I know that they're kind of a big deal. This is one of the traditions of Balloon Fiesta. On the first Sunday of the Fiesta, which is today, and also later on the second Saturday, the Balloon Fiesta will host that trading-only sessions. I guess they're going to be trading some pins, which is a big deal.
Yep. They have 60,000 pins that were made for this particular event, the Balloon Fiesta, and if you can get your hands on some of them, that's fantastic, because then you have, something to barter with. You've got something to trade. You got pins that you can trade with other people, and it's always so much fun to see all the pins out there, especially the special shape pins. We just showed you a cam just a moment ago. That is a cam that is offered on our website, also on our KOAT app.
Right.
And the Balloon Fiesta, the KOAT Balloon Fiesta app, where you can,
can we bring that up, actually?
Yeah. There's a splash and dash happening right now.
There you go.
But you can maneuver the camera, the HD cam at Balloon Fiesta Park, from your phone, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so this is the splash and dash that you were telling me about.
So this is a hot air balloon, one of the teardrop balloons that is over. It looks like a little bit of fog and mist over the Rio Grande right there. This is really spectacular.
Magical. I know.
And what they'll do is they'll let off the burner, is what they're trying to do there, and they can just barely touch the water. We'll watch it live here from our Sky 7 as the balloon settles into the Rio Grande right there.
That takes so much control and precision as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you don't want to, there it goes. You see it touch the water right there.
Awesome.
They fire up the burner and they lift back off. This is something that you really only see here in New Mexico at the Balloon Fiesta. And what a perfect morning for that. I can only imagine what they're seeing from their perspective.
Just gorgeous. What a wonderful experience for whoever's riding on the gondola, right?
Absolutely. Look at those colors in the sky, too. Just a beautiful sunrise. That sunrise officially at 7:07 this morning. And you see the beautiful colors of the balloons and the background of that sky. We've got an amazing mass ascension that is taking shape right now.
Sounds great. And so, Byron, just moments ago, before we saw that amazing splash and dash, you were mentioning that special shot that we'd be able to control if you go to our website. I'm wondering if we can take that shot again. This is a shot that I think is around, there it is right there. So basically, you can zoom in and kind of maneuver the shot yourself. And we do have a link to get to this on KOAT.com. Just want to make sure that you guys check this out. You know that this is out there. It's another cool.
Yeah, it kind of gives you control of the camera, and so you can see what you want to see. And it's an HD camera, so it's a really high quality camera there. This is on the north side of the park looking in a southerly direction. So I believe, well, maybe it's on the south side of the park. I don't know. But either way, it gives you an awesome perspective there. And it's really neat that you are able to maneuver it. Of course, Balloon Fiesta This is the 46th annual Balloon Fiesta. It's been going on since 1972, and it began with just a small group of about 8 to 13 balloons at Coronado Center, and then, of course, grew to over 1,000 balloons at one point, and then the officials realized that that was way too many balloons to control, so they dropped that number of balloons back down to about 550 is what we have out there this morning.
Right, and you know, this has become over the years, over the decades, such a huge event for Albuquerque, and it obviously has a really large economic impact every given year around this time when the Balloon Fiesta returns to the city. I'm going to read you a couple facts here, just kind of give you an idea of how much of a big deal this event is in Albuquerque. In a given year, in a given Balloon Fiesta, the dollars spent can amount up to $90 million. Can you imagine just how amazing that is for our local economy? Just incredible. And state revenue, tax revenues generated during the Balloon Fiesta alone are $15 million. So a lot of money coming into the city from the Balloon Fiesta alone. Just an amazing event. Not only is it fun to see, it's good for our economy as well.
Absolutely. And the weather can vary significantly at Balloon Fiesta Park. Of course, this morning, it's a pretty typical morning. Temperatures there in the lower 40s. You see the moon there. If you look in the center of your shot, this is just spectacular. But yeah, so we generally have temperatures in the lower 40s at Balloon Fiesta Park, upper 30s to around 40 degrees, we'll call it, on average. We've been as cold as 30 degrees, so below freezing, and that was in 1976. We've even had snow reported at Balloon Fiesta in 1986, which didn't hamper the events. They still went on, surprisingly. Even with the snow, in 1997, we had a trace of snow reported there. But we have the perfect setup of basically what we call northerly drainage wind, an Albuquerque box, which only happens, it's very unique to Albuquerque, and that's when we have that northerly drainage wind that pushes the balloons down to the south, and then the balloons can lift off and fire the burners, go higher up and lift back to the north, so giving, again, the people, the spectators at Balloon Fiesta Park kind of a repeat, a retake of the balloons as they lift back northward. But you can see that generally they're lifting in a northerly direction right now, because this is looking south from Balloon Fiesta Park, and looking pretty cool. Yeah, unique conditions for the Balloon Fiesta. Hey, we just had a glimpse earlier of Yoda. They're inflating Yoda, one of the more the classic special shapes that plenty of people enjoy. We heard from David Carl earlier. He was speaking with a stormtrooper that they are also part of the tradition as well. There you see him. Yoda is getting filled. You wouldn't know it by that angle, would you? But we're hearing from our producer that that is Yoda right there. You see him laid out next to Darth Vader, and the stormtroopers are out there. Both Yoda and Darth Vader are from Belgium. Lottie Dottie the chicken is there on the left of your screen, and Lottie Dottie chicken is from Brazil. And, you know, what's really unique about this, we talk about it being an international balloon fiesta because there are so many countries. 23 countries are represented this year at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and that includes places like Belgium, Brazil, also Australia, Canada, Croatia, the Czech Republic, France, Germany, Ireland, Japan, Mexico, Netherlands. I'll just keep reading them. New Zealand, Norway, Poland, Russia, and Spain, Switzerland, Thailand, and also Taiwan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. And new this year, Scotland has joined the group at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Amazing. It really does, you know, it truly is an international balloon fiesta. We heard from, remember when Chris Guardaro was, checking out the traffic yesterday? He talked to someone who was coming from Siberia, so it really is an international event. All right, we'll let you just drink it all in. We'll give you some more sights of the beautiful mass ascension happening right now. very good second day morning of the Balloon Fiesta Mass Ascension. This is, speaking of magical,
yes,
this is one of the hot air balloons that is attempting to do a splash and dash on the Rio Grande, all while there is some fog and mist in the works there. So it's really something that I have been watching Balloon Fiesta for 16 years now. I don't think I've ever seen something like this where we've seen the fog over the Rio Grande. So this is really spectacular. It's really something to be seen.
It's like something from a movie. It really is. It's just so wonderful.
The top half of the balloon is out of the fog, the bottom half in the basket in the fog and reaching down toward the river. So something that is really awesome to see.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
So it looks like quite a few balloons are already heading up.
Yeah, I think we're seeing more this morning at this time than we saw on Saturday morning.
Wow.
And that could be all due to the fact that we have the light winds, the ideal conditions out there. This is our I-25 Presbyterian Action Cam, and you see all the balloons that are filling the sky already. The sun is coming up. It's just a magnificent morning there at Balloon Fiesta.
Well, the Sandias in the backdrop, it's just amazing.
Beginning to be illuminated by the sunshine there as it rises. That sunrise was at 7:07 this morning. The winds are fairly light. This is a look from our Sky 7, and we've seen the Penguin lift off already. We're hoping to get one of the larger balloons, or maybe all of the larger balloons up. We'd like to see Arabelle. We'd like to see the Superbike as well. Somebody that's in the middle of all the fun and action is our very own reporter, David Carl. David, good morning. How are things going out there?
Good morning, Byron. Yeah, ask and you shall receive. Arabelle inflating currently right behind me. It's kind of hard to miss. She's one of the biggest balloons out here. We're seeing a lot, as you mentioned, of those special shapes between Arabelle, Darth Vader, and Yoda just across on the other side here, also inflating as we speak, hoping to get some of these special shapes up here. And you've talked about it a little bit all morning, Byron. You know, these conditions, it's calm. We're feeling almost no wind here on the ground level. Obviously, could be different up there, but I mean, that's good for special shapes. We could be seeing a lot of them today. We're seeing the chicken nearby as well. We're seeing just a ton of these all inflating the special shapes. And you mentioned, yeah, I think it is more than yesterday. And we saw quite a few special shapes yesterday. We saw the mariachi, which is a new one. We saw the New Mexican doll, which is a new one as well. And potentially, just from what I'm seeing, just in this general area right now, there's a ton of special shapes around, potentially even more than yesterday. So exciting for the people who may not have seen some of those new ones. And again, some of the old favorites like Arabelle.
We hope that we can see Arabelle go up into the air. Thank you so much, David. So we are also getting these spectacular shots from Sky 7. Let's go get a check with our Sky 7 pilot, Neil Lawson. He's going to give us an update from the air. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Christine. Yeah, everything is looking really nice for this morning's launch. We've got, I don't know, probably 30, 40 balloons up so far. We have a few splash and dashes. We've got the fog on the river, which is, as Byron has mentioned, you know, you just don't get that very often around here. And everything's coming together for a great morning at Balloon Fiesta Park. I'm looking at right now probably 200 or 300 balloons already standing up, getting ready to launch, and even more laid out. I think we're going to get a full launch today.
Looks great. It's so awesome also to see the special ships kind of on their sides, or sort of like
as they come
hanging
to life.
Out before, yes, as they get inflated and come to life.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, Christine, that you saw the crowd on the field. It looked like there were perhaps more people on the field this morning than we saw on Saturday morning. The weather is ideal out there, and throughout the entire event, we're expecting about 1 million people to show up for Balloon Fiesta. And the weekends, the mass ascensions, are always the biggest shows, if you will, and so that draws the largest crowds. On any one of these weekend days, we can see upwards of close to 100,000 people at one of these events, and it certainly looks like this would be one of those mornings where we're looking at a very large crowd out there. People on concession row probably grabbing the hot burritos, and there you go. That shot of the Rio Grande is, you know, it's breathtaking, really. You've got the fog over the Rio Grande. You've got a hot air balloon and the green and little hint of yellow in the bosque there with the cottonwoods that are beginning to turn. So it's absolutely grand.
It really is so graceful. Just look at that one soul balloon floating over as it, maybe, I don't know if maybe it was trying to do like a splash and dash.
It might have, yeah, over the river right there just a minute ago.
Oh, just so beautiful. So, you know, we took a look at the shapes earlier. They're as they're being inflated, it kind of gives you an idea of how huge they are.
Enormous.
They're really big, and Arabelle the cow, being one of the larger ones. Typically, one of the sport balloons range in size from 65,000 to 105,000 cubic feet alone, just in volume. So that gives you an idea of how big they are. And, you mentioned yesterday the Superbike. That's one of the biggest ones we have yet to see. That is a brand new special shape that is debuting at the Balloon Fiesta this year. And that one is from the Netherlands. Let's hope we get another look at that later on today.
Yeah, in fact, the Superbike, I think Tom Garrity, one of the officials out there at Balloon Fiesta, had mentioned here on our 4 o'clock newscast on KOAT 7 earlier this week, that last week I should say, that the Superbike, the envelope weighs about 1,400 pounds, and we all know Arabelle is enormous.
Yes.
And we look at Arabelle, and Arabelle's envelope weighs 800 pounds. So to give you perspective there of just how enormous that Superbike is, the largest likely at Balloon Fiesta, and 1,400 pounds. That's incredible. The Arabelle, right there, the cow crew is firing up Arabelle. It's beginning to stand up, and I really think that we will see Arabelle lifting off today.
Oh,
at least my fingers are crossed, and things are looking fantastic for it to lift off for today.
So, you mentioned the word envelope, and I am just now getting to know the terminology as well. And I'll read this to you for any of you at home who are wondering what that is. So, the envelope is basically the balloon, right? The bag. And it's made of a reinforced fabric called rip-stop nylon. We want to make sure that these balloons are sturdy as they go up into the air, and polyester and other fabrics are sometimes used to make those. Okay, here's another shot of this amazing splash and dash attempt.
Looks like on a little pool that could be next to the Rio Grande right there. Perhaps they already did a splash and dash with that particular balloon. But again, we're seeing a little bit of fog, a little bit of mist in the very lower levels of the atmosphere, right near the surface, along the Rio Grande, into the Bosque. And, with Halloween coming up, it's kind of spooky almost.
It really
if they had the Darth Vader balloon, or maybe Bill the vampire over that, or that would be something to watch.
Let's hope that they try that. So could you explain maybe what conditions make the mist, or what makes it fog?
The fact is, of course, just above the surface of the Rio Grande, we have moisture, obviously, that's evaporating into the atmosphere. We had a very chilly night, and that cold air, it's kind of like if you were to, on a cold morning, breathe on your car window, it creates that condensation. And that's the same thing that's happening. That cold air is condensing that moisture right above the Rio Grande and creating that fog.
Just beautiful. And this right here is our KOAT cam, I believe, which is just right outside of our station. Look at all those balloons that are up in the air right now. Gosh, how many do you think are up at that particular shot?
I would guess more than 50. How about that?
That sounds about right. And I think I see one of the... Oh, this is the Presbyterian cam.
All different angles for you. Hey, another event that kicked off on Saturday was the America's Challenge gas balloon race. And just to give you an update, one of the farthest teams right now, team number 6, it looks like, and they are about 443 miles away from their liftoff point at Balloon Fiesta Park. They're in Kansas right now. So that gives you perspective. Now, the gas balloons go a lot farther. Sometimes they can go upwards of close to 2,000 miles, and the competition right now has about, looks like 8 balloons that are in competition. I'm looking at the live tracking, and this is on the Balloon Fiesta page, and yeah, it looks like the farthest one is Team 6. It looks like not too far behind is Team 5. By the way, Team 6 is, I can't say the name. It looks like Seabass. I can't say the name properly, but it looks like Seabass, and then we've got another one that's over, it looks like a lot of them are over Texas into Oklahoma right now, so they're drifting in an easterly direction. That's the gas balloon, the America's Challenge gas balloon race. Of course, right now, mass ascension is happening, and these are hot air balloons that we're watching at Balloon Fiesta Park right now. Arabelle is slowly coming to life. Here's a perspective from our Sky 7. You just heard from Neil Lawson that a lot of balloons are in the sky already, and we are looking at a phenomenal mass ascension.
I love this shot. I love it when they're kind of just suspended in the air. They look like candy or like gumballs up in the air.
And we still have the shadow of the Sandia Mountains on the park right now, but as the balloons lift off, you see the penguin is in the light of the sun and illuminated right now, so that's spectacular. Looks like another, is that a special shape one right there, that smaller one right there that's in the middle of the screen?
It looks like it.
That's
Humpty
Dumpty. Okay.
Humpty Dumpty.
There we go.
Yeah, and the penguin. So we saw 3 different penguins, but that one looks like it is Tall Steve.
Tall Steve,
Tall
right?
Steve is from Bredstone, Gloucestershire, United Kingdom. That's just a wonderful shot.
You just got back from London, didn't you?
I
did you see any hot air balloons while you were there?
No, none. Nothing compares to the Albuquerque.
They were all on their way
International
over here,
Fiesta.
apparently.
Yes, we're getting ready to make it over here. Oh, okay. Well, what you just saw just moments ago is the they're going to reconnect. But that was the HD cam. Again, we were mentioning earlier that that's the camera that you can control. You can zoom in and out of it to get a closer shot or a closer look at some of the balloons.
Kind of like an interactive experience for Balloon Fiesta. If you're sitting at home or using your phone, you can kind of move the camera around at Balloon Fiesta Park. It's our HD cam. You can find that on your app, your KOAT app, and also at KOAT.com. This is, of course, Concession Row, looking at all the balloons that are inflating, and it is a packed house out there. Look at that. Everybody is watching the balloons.
Everyone looks really bundled up. It must be chilly, huh?
Yeah, it is a cold one. You know, you see 47 on the screen there. That's reported from the Sunport, the official report from the Sunport here in Albuquerque. But the Balloon Fiesta Park is at a lower elevation. That cold air settles into lower levels and lower elevations. So you got to subtract about maybe close to 10 degrees for that. So it could be in the upper 30s to near 40 degrees at Balloon Fiesta Park right now. And that's what's creating that fog and mist over the Rio Grande as well.
Okay, well, things are just getting started. We'll let you take it all in. With the mass ascension happening right now, there's a glimpse of Darth Vader heading up. Stay with us. So glad to see Arabelle is up in the air. She made it.
How exciting, right? I know we were hoping for this. We were keeping our fingers crossed, and there you go. A beautiful morning as the sun lightens things up there. We are seeing Arabelle, the creamling cow, lift into the sky over Balloon Fiesta Park. Just a great morning, and that tells you that the conditions are perfect.
Just wonderful. We have crews on the field right now.
How often do you see a cow in the sky, really? I mean, that large anyway.
It's just spectacular. It really is. Just a great view all around. Hey, let's check in with David Carl. He is down on the ground in the field. So, David, how are things looking from where you are? David Carl.
I think he's really enjoying this
and
view
she's
of.
already up there.
Okay, yeah.
And can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. So Arabella's up in the air. Look, she looks great.
Yeah, she was just right here, and again, she's up in the sky right now. We've been hoping for this all day, really since yesterday, too. She did inflate yesterday, but conditions weren't right, and they're absolutely perfect today. Sun's coming up. The winds are low. It's gorgeous, and we are seeing just a special shape after special shape. To my left here, we've got the black sheep. We've got a chicken. We've got Yoda. We've got Darth Vader. It is special shapes all over the place, and people are excited. I actually just tried to get an interview with Arabella's pilot a little bit ago, and he said, "You're 2 minutes late. We're going up. 95% chance we're going up," and now we know it's a 100% chance. So awesome to see Arabelle the cow up in the sky today.
Hey there, David. I see that there are lots of people around you. You want to ask any of them what their perspective is as they watch Arabelle lift off? I'm just curious what they thought about it.
Yeah,
Maybe
come on over here. Let's okay. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get on over here. We just saw Arabelle go up. Well, first of all, what's your name?
I'm John.
John, you from New Mexico?
No, we're from Colorado.
Coming in from Colorado. We just saw Arabelle the Creamland cow, one of the favorites here at Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. Pretty cool to see, huh?
It was very cool. Getting to be right underneath it.
Yeah.
Very warm.
Yeah, and that's not particularly common to see her go up. You got to have perfect conditions. You guys have a favorite balloon out here?
What's your favorite?
I like Darth Vader and Yoda.
Yeah, as any true Star Wars fan should.
Yes.
Absolutely awesome. So, you guys, is this your first Balloon Fiesta?
It is.
It is. What made you decide to make the trip on down here?
Just bucket list.
That's awesome. You guys enjoying yourselves?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, keep on enjoying yourselves. We got plenty of people out here. You got 100,000 of your best friends here enjoying seeing Arabelle and the rest of the balloons come up. Thanks so much, guys. Again, we are enjoying all of these special shapes, all of the balloons going up the Mass Ascension. Absolutely beautiful today as the sun does come up over the mountains. My buddy Aiden down here. High five, Aiden. Also excited to see all the balloons go up. So we'll keep updating you as they continue to hit the skies, guys.
Okay, David, looks like so much fun down where you are in the field. And look at that shot. You can see Arabelle just kind of hanging out among the other balloons.
All by herself over there on the right. That is pretty spectacular. She's doing her own thing, isn't she?
She really is. This is, by the way, our KOAT cam is right out of Center Station. It gives us a perfect view of the balloons passing through. And hey, there's Yoda.
Yes, the force has come to life. That is Yoda. His eyes are slowly opening. He's lifting, he's inflating. And next to him, one of your favorites, Christine.
Darth Vader.
Yes.
Right.
Was that your imitation?
Yes.
I love it. All right, you can keep it here on KOAT 7. We'll have all angles of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta right here on KOAT 7. Stick with us.
Watching KOAT Action 7 News more in the morning with special coverage of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
All right, a very good Second day of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and we are looking live. Yoda, Darth Vader are talking to each other in the skies over Balloon Fiesta Park right now. They just lifted off. We saw Arabelle lift off this morning as well. It's a fantastic morning. Christine, I know we're having so much fun watching this.
It really is. It's cool to see them inflate, then to go see them up in the air. And I think we have another splash and dash shot for you. We've been looking at.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Look at that.
It looks like some of the fog has lifted, but there's still a little bit of fog there. The reflection on the Rio Grande. This is something that we love to see, and the weather conditions are ideal. We've seen a lot of these splash and dashes this morning. Somebody that is tracking all of this, and you're seeing the Sky 7 picture right now, is our pilot, Neil Lawson. Good morning, Neil. Looks really awesome out there. What do you think? All right, he is entranced.
Yes, he's
by
drinking
the images.
it all in himself. We'll get back to Neil in just a moment, but gosh, that image of the reflection.
As an artiste, I guess I could say, Christine, right? I mean, which you are. I've seen some of your artwork. It's pretty amazing. You have a lot of work to get to here because you want to grab some of these pictures and try to recreate them.
Yeah, aside from attempting to paint the beauty of it, I know that this is one of the most photographed events in the world. Lots of photographers there right now to take pictures of just this beautiful event. Look at all of the balloons up. It really does seem like more than
And the crowd is just enormous. Yeah, I think that we're getting a better show today. Of course, yesterday was phenomenal. I don't know how you could do any better. That, by the way, is Iwi the Kiwi. You just saw him there, the backside. That was from Chile. This is our Presbyterian I-25 action cam. And, yeah, I don't know. I'm counting maybe 40 balloons there in the sky just in this shot, and this is kind of a zoomed in shot. You got the mountains there in the background, and there's the Zia symbol, of course, New Mexico's state symbol there on the balloon as it lifts off.
You mentioned that the wind isn't terribly strong, so they're kind of hovering in the air. Is that kind of giving us just more of a spectacular look?
I think that
they're all kind of up in the air at once.
Yeah, and I think they're kind of grouping them together as well. So as they do go up in waves, they're not dispersing rapidly. And so we kind of get a full effect of a lot of balloons grouped together as they lift off. And we're hoping, there's Iwi the Kiwi that I was talking about from New Zealand right there.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, 23 countries represented. We talked about that. But yeah, it's the perfect weather conditions. The winds aren't all that strong. That's why we were able to see Arabelle lift off. That's why I think we're going to see a lot of the special shapes lifting off. And some of the larger special shapes may wait a little bit longer. So, of course, we're hoping that Superbike and some of the new special shapes lift off. There's one of the bees, two of the bees. You see there in the middle on the right
side
there?
Yeah. And so,
wow, look at that.
There's Arabelle kind of in the upper middle shot.
Now, doesn't that just look like a kaleidoscope almost?
Totally. And she's, just making friends with the other balloons up there in the air. So wonderful. So the theme of this year's Balloon Fiesta is Inflate Your Imagination.
You think that that's appropriate?
I think it's very appropriate, especially when we see Arabelle all inflated and up in the air having a grand old time.
Black sheep there, too. Lottie Dottie Chicken on the left side of your screen there. And yeah, there are so many things to see, so many things to do. And hey, somebody that's there on the field, we've been checking in with David Carl throughout the morning. David, looks like the bees are filling up. I hear you got an interview there. Who do you have there with you?
Yeah, it's not every day that we get to interview an astronaut, but I'm joined today by Mike Mullane, a man who knows a thing or two about getting up in the air. Mike, how are you?
Good, David. Thank you for having me here this morning.
I appreciate you being here. So, you've seen some amazing things that the typical human hasn't seen. You've been to space. How does this compare?
Well, I tell you, this is incredible. I've been out here many times for the festival, and I've always enjoyed it. I mean, it's so colorful, so beautiful against the blue sky here. It's just awesome.
Yeah, and you have a role to play here today. What are you doing?
NASA has a tent, a space education tent on the north end of the field, and I'm going to be giving a talk to the public at 8:30 and at 10 o'clock this morning about my life as an astronaut, what it's like to live in space. Have I seen any UFOs? How does our toilet work?
That's a great question for New Mexico, right?
Yeah, that's I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Also, I have 2 grandkids that are up here in the air today. Gwyneth and Noah Lyons are aboard Featherlight 2 with Alan Zelinsky from Chicago.
Very cool.
Great balloon pilot.
Yeah.
So it's just such a wonderful time to be out here.
And a couple of balloons that may be of interest to you. I'm not sure if you've seen them yet. There's an astronaut balloon this year. He's got his orange suit. He's got a helmet. It's pretty awesome.
I have it. Oh, there he is, right there. Yeah, I see him. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we've got an astronaut balloon, and we've also got, there's a spaceship balloon with little green men in the windows.
I have seen that one. I hadn't seen the astronaut one, though.
Yeah. So, again, you're here, you're enjoying Balloon Fiesta just like everybody else. Your talks, they said 8:30 and 10 o'clock for anybody who's interested?
8:30, 10 o'clock. Anybody wants to see me up there, and afterwards I'll stand around for photos, or if you want me something to autograph, I'm happy to autograph it. So basically from 8:30, I'll probably be at that tent from 8:30 to about 11.
Now, again, you've been pretty high up. Have you been in a balloon yourself?
I have. A couple years ago, Alan Zelinsky took me up in Featherlight 1, and that was really, really wonderful. I mean, it's obviously a lot different than riding a shuttle. A lot of noise and shaking.
Sure.
Of course, there's a lot of noise in these too when those burners are running.
Oh yeah.
But still, it was when the burner was off, it was just so tranquil, so beautiful, just gliding along. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, David.
All right, you have a good one.
Okay.
We're going to continue staying out here as the mass ascension continues. Tons of special shapes, tons of people to talk to. Back to you guys.
Thanks, David.
What a great story.
Yeah.
You know, talking to a real astronaut that is there at Balloon Fiesta Park. It just proves that you can meet so many different kinds of people if you are out at the park. Got a Splash Dash right here live. This is the Remax balloon, and I believe they have a new balloon this year, the Remax team. And this is the Remax team that is just now reaching down toward the Rio Grande in the middle of that mist and fog.
Oh, just
something out of a fairy tale.
Fairy tale is the right way to put it.
Yep.
Balloon Fiesta, a real life fairy tale.
There
That's
you go. Let's tell our own story, right?
Exactly. So, you know, we just saw a shot of one of those new special shapes. If we can go back to it really quickly. The new special shape, it is called Pepe the Hedgehog, and this is one of 17 new special shapes that we can see this year.
Oh, okay. And
that one was
he
from the Czech Republic.
The Czech Republic. Okay.
We'll come back to the shot as soon as we get it, but that was another one of the cool new special shapes.
Center stage is inflating there on your left, kind of looking between those teardrop balloons.
Oh yeah.
The Route 66 balloon.
There you see. Actually, I do see Pepe, kind of like on the far left in the middle. That spiky looking one.
Oh, the spiky. That is
Pepe the Hedgehog.
Hedgehog. Okay. There you go.
There he is.
Ah, a tight look at Pepe. It looks like he's got some fruit, maybe an apple or a pear or something.
Yeah. Again.
What's the one behind him? Do you know that one? It looks like a.
Let's see. So. For those of you listening at home, we have this very nifty binder of all of
Yes, we're cheating. That is Con Air.
Con Air.
Palm Springs, California.
That's another cool one as well. It's kind of like a little convict.
Con Air?
Yes. A convict balloon. We have all kinds of balloons up in the air.
Yeah, and I love the play on words there. Fantastic. All right, so many things going on. We're going to let you guys kind of sit back and watch the views here as we grab a sip of water. Enjoy it right here on KOAT 7. Our coverage continues throughout the morning.
Welcome back. It is day 2 of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. We have been having so much fun watching the balloons go up in the air during the mass ascension. We're seeing a lot of special shapes going up right now, and we do have a reporter on the ground right now, David Carl. He has a pilot with him right now. Good morning, David. Who are you talking to?
Good morning, Christine. I'm going to open this up with a tongue twister. I have Bill Baker of the Bimbo Bear Balloon joining me right now. Not many people make me feel short, Bill, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you for having us.
So you're getting set to kind of get on up right now, correct?
Exactly. We're getting ready to get the balloon rigged up and ready to go.
All right, but the Bimbo Bear is not hitting the air today, and there's a very specific reason. You mentioned a corkscrew box. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it's a good box. It's a beautiful day, guys. Everybody who's not out here, come on out, join us. Bimbo USA, and we're going to come out and fly the box. If you look up in the sky, he's shooting it. Balloons everywhere. It's beautiful. Guys are going up high a little bit and going to north towards the river, and it's a lot of the guys will cross into Corrales and Rio Rancho.
Got a couple people hitting the river as well.
And they're going, they'll do splash and dashes up and down the river.
Awesome. So obviously you've been doing this for quite some time. How long have you been a pilot?
Since the 70s.
Since the 70s, and you've been coming to Balloon Fiesta for a while.
For a while, yeah. Since I had hair.
Since you had hair.
And it's been long gone.
And again, what kind of goes into this process? Making the decision on whether to stand up or how to when to get inflated, all these kinds of things.
That's a great question. Most of the folks out here, I mean, everybody has their own criteria, and every pilot has a decision to go or not to go. And a lot of things go into that. Some of the things are how they feel. How the crew feels, what the traffic's like. Of course, the weather is exemplary. It's just beautiful. It's just perfect. Yeah. So most people are going and flying. Some of us, the corporate guys, we have a little bit of different strategies or agendas, and we have to cover those bases. So it just depends on the individual. But like you say, look at this. It's just gorgeous. It's a blue sky.
You mentioned, they have their own decision whether or not they can go up.
Right.
But take us behind the scenes. There's always the pilot's briefing every morning, and really that can decide whether or not we go up in the first place. What goes into that briefing?
Well, the Sam Parks, the balloon meister, and all the staff, they have decision safety for everybody.
Sure.
And they either open the field for us to fly, for the pilots to make their own decisions to go in whatever wave we're just designated in, or they'll shut it down if it's beyond our waiver limits, and those kind of things. It's wind speed, wind direction, obviously falling precip or whatever those conditions may be, or if we're expecting something to come in, they'll put us on a hold, weather hold, and we'll look at it's quite the organization.
Sure, and I mean that can always be disappointing if they decide balloons can't go up, but better safe than sorry.
Well, ballooning is guaranteed. If we put them up, everybody's happy. If we don't, everybody's disappointed. It's a 100% business, and that's why everybody loves it.
Yeah, and absolutely. Today's a perfect day for it. Hopefully, we keep seeing more weather like this. Appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much. We'll look forward to seeing the bear upright.
Well, thank you. Be just a few minutes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. And again, we're going to be out here for much of the rest of the morning watching these balloons hit the air. Again, plenty of special shapes, plenty of people to talk to. We'll be here throughout the morning. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, David. And hey, we just saw a couple new special shapes up in the air. Oh my goodness, Smokey Bear is up now.
There's Smokey Bear, and that's another favorite for the crowd there at Balloon Fiesta and for all of you. And we also just saw Armadillo just a moment ago, that balloon from Brazil.
And Simba.
Simba, we saw Simba as well. So a lot of the balloons are lifting off. We saw Arabelle lift off. We saw the center stage. There's the Armadillo.
Armadillo and Simba.
And that's Simba right there too.
So Armadillo was one of the new ones, new special shapes this year.
I like his holster, and he's don't mess with Armadillo, that's for sure. Yeah.
So we're able to get these really wonderful shots of the balloons because of Sky 7. So let's go to Neil Lawson. He's our Sky 7 pilot. So good morning, Neil. What can you show us right now from the air?
Well, we kind of have an overall view of the Balloon Fiesta Park here. We have bunches of balloons up right now. Several hundred balloons are up. Gorgeous day. We've got balloons are basically spread out from about Paseo all the way up into northern Rio Rancho. They're running on kind of a northwest southeast line. If you're down low, if you keep it down low within 100 or 200 feet of the ground, the winds are taking you just to the south a little bit. As you come up in altitude, you kind of stop where you're at, and then the higher you go, then you go off to the north. So that is a kind of a box, and I think we're going to be able to see some of the balloons returning to the vicinity of the field. It also gives you a really good opportunity to do splash and dash if that's what you want to do. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw even some of the special shapes trying to do splash and dash today, because the conditions are so good.
That sounds amazing. Just as you predicted, Byron, the possibility
you know,
of the box.
we're so excited because we get this about 30% of the time. The first 2 weeks of October, at least research has shown that. And you heard the pilots that David Carl was just talking to a little while ago. That's kind of like a corkscrew box. So, you know, maybe not the perfect, ideal, I guess, box conditions, but it is ideal flying weather, and it is a spectacular day. And so that is going to allow, as you heard from Neil Lawson, those special shape balloons, the possibility of doing some splash and dash, which is something to be seen. So we are all excited about it, and of course we will keep you updated with all the best views. We've got multiple cameras, every angle, Sky 7, also on the ground at the field, and you can also track it on your KOAT app and at KOAT.com. Keep it tuned here to KOAT 7. We'll keep you covered with all the latest from the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.